Personal journal entry. The Global Metallurgical Society can't determine the composition of the threshold, and I have heard nothing from the Academy. Some are speculating that the threshold's origin is not of this earth. Poppycock. I thought these were men of science, not tomfoolery. Yeah, this was before the Crystal Skull, so... I am astonished by Jack Keon's insidious behavior. Sick devil. With the lust of a thirsting vampire, he searches the globe for strange and sublime objects that are beyond price. He has devoted a great deal of time, effort, and money trying to beat me to archaeological discoveries. His success rate has been marginal at best. Well, enough of my ranting. Science calls. My scanners indicate strong energy emission signatures coming from the heart of the Bermuda Triangle, as well as something big, very big. In the name of science, onward I venture, risking both life and limb for knowledge. Yeah, you knew a game about treasure hunting with submarines was going to eventually include the Bermuda Triangle. Bermuda, latitude 65 degrees east, longitude 32 degrees 30 minutes north. I'm still guessing that the point means minutes. So, now at this point, as I mentioned, I'm invincible and I have infinite weapons and shield energy. That does not mean that everything... That does not mean the victory is a lock. Because my first priority in any of these levels is to make sure I get at least one pod at the outset. And if I fail to do that and somebody else gets all 5 pods and gets through the threshold, then game's over. Yeah. If an enemy gets through the threshold, there is no coming back from that. So yeah, it is entirely possible for this to end even with all your lives. So now with this done, I can just start beating on these people, and I can give you some definitions on them. Currently attacking me is the VLO. Stands for Venganza Liberation Organization. Venganza is a fictional island in this game. We'll be seeing it in the next round. And they have been exploited by corporations and governments for the resources. The VLO is a quote-unquote freedom fighting organization that wants to get the pods to build a bomb and use it to ransom their freedom back from the world. So yes, they're terrorists. In the same way like the Nicaraguan Contras were terrorists. Captain Cutlass, by the way, his whole reason for getting these is because he's a pirate and they're booty. He used to actually be a kids show host of a show called Davy Jones' Locker, but apparently he was scaring the kids and his ratings were low. So his show got canceled, and he basically came to believe that he really was a pirate, and he was insulted that they said he wasn't a convincing pirate, so he decided, okay, well, I'm going to show you, mateys. Oh yeah, Captain Cutlass is funny. Okay, so we just have the order to worry about. The one problem with this method, maintaining the reflector shield, it's very hard for me to get onto the button that allows me to do tight turns. So I have trouble when enemies come up behind me trying to get back to them. That same button is also used to strafe. Hanging mines there. There's also other ships and planes in this area. There we go, now I can drop that. Deflector, by the way, just knocks attacks away. Reflector knocks him back at the firer. So I prefer to have Reflector when I have infinite energy because it costs more, but it gets rid of the enemies faster. Now you see a very large cruise ship in the background there. This was something I showed off last time, but what the hell, I'll show it off again. Because I realized not everyone saw it. So you see the sub there, the propeller's still turning. Hit the shelf a few times. Have to be careful about how to do this, because if you fire at the wrong place, you end up shooting the sub and destroying it. Shit ton of power-ups. And the sub somehow goes through the platform, but it fades off into the abyss. I've chased after it. You can't really get it to it. Oh, and here's another nasty thing I hate about Bermuda. The threshold is below critical depth, so you're guaranteed to lose at least a bit of life. Incoming message. I will stand for your interference no longer. I am the mighty arms dealer known as Mr. Fat. The energy pods you are carrying play a key role in my conquest of the world. Only I have the knowledge and the means to use them to their full potential. I will not permit you to continue in your vain and petty quest any longer. I have used my superior technology to block your progress through the threshold. I will now destroy you with my glorious submarine, the Kronos, and retrieve the pods from your pitiful wreckage. Prepare to meet your doom. Yeah, this was the boss that just wrecks your shit. About the only effective way, if you're trying to do this straight up, to deal with him, is to fire pilot missiles from a long way away. Because he has, in addition to some really powerful torpedoes and a powerful ram, a lightning attack that will just fry your ass. And he also tends to run circles around you, so there's a lot of times where you get out of visual range of him. And he has a variation of the piranhas too. Although, as you see, you can stun blast him. And that was the surface mine I just released. Which floats upwards, as you can see. Like everything else, he has a connection to a couple of the things going on. I'll get to that in a minute. Personal journal entry. Well now, a considerably nefarious conspiracy has been unmasked. The notorious Mr. Fat, a widely recognized illegal arms dealer, turns out to be no one less than Sebastian Titan, leader of Titan Worldwide, Inc. It appears that even he had a stake in the recovery of the pods. I had to fight him for the right to keep what I had gathered, and I was fortunate enough to defeat him. Totally legitimately, right? I suspect that his great corporate empire is about to come tumbling down around him now that his illegal ties are out. I hate to imagine just how he would have tried to exploit the energies of the pods had he successfully recovered them. I am now in the waters near the coast of the island kingdom of Venganza. I feel a considerable bit of pity for the poor inhabitants of this formerly fair island. Various big business organizations have taken advantage of the Venganzan peoples and their island's resources for years. Titan Worldwide Inc. is one of them. Mordred Corporation is another. Now, the Venganzan landscape has been ravaged to the point of desolation, but my pity is tempered by my distaste for the Venganzan Liberation Organization. This terrorist group of rogues and militant scoundrels does nothing but aimlessly lash out at anyone or anything that they feel is a potential threat to their movement. I don't doubt that I might be in for a fight. Venganza, latitude 20 degrees west, longitude 40 degrees 25 minutes south. I still hope I'm correct in that. And I can't tell if the VLO is one of the enemies or not. So they don't always show up. But we're going to snag a pod, and then we're going to take a little tour. Because there's something really cool I want to show off. As you can see, a lot of towers, a lot of equipment around here. These are all parts of Titan Worldwide Inc.'s oil drilling rig. No, you don't. Okay, right away I got a little bit of a problem. Problem solved. So there's a lot going on here. Not only do you have a very wide area in general to deal with stuff, there's a lot of machinery in the way, a lot of rigging platforms. You have those patrol craft. They don't do anything to you, but they can throw off your aim at the enemies, because as you can see, they do show up on your radar as targets. As you can see, a very big oil platform here. Main drilling apparatus. There is something very specific here that I definitely want to show off. Not that low. Oh, and as you can see, having infinite life also protects me from critical depth. So that's nice. Keep moving around here. Eventually I'm going to find it, and there it is. So, yeah. This is a tunnel that was dug as part of the excavation process. First off, I'd like to note Jed's. Okay, so let's go over to the diner. That's a tank thing. It's not like in the floor. It's not like a button or anything. But the main thing back here are some pieces of equipment. You can blow them the hell up and get some weapons out of a few of them, I think. Yeah, there's life in the... there is life inside your excavator. That was my favorite Avenue Q song. Okay, but we got infinite everything, so we don't need to really sweat that. So let's go back around. What we want to do is get back to where the tracks were. Luckily, no one ever really goes down this area, so... And I'm going the wrong way. I'm exiting. So this was the end of the track path. Or the big coal bin there. Because I dislike heavy industry. I'll find the route eventually, trust me. Okay, now we're heading down. I think we're heading down the wrong way, possibly. You shut up. Okay, now that's odd. I didn't know about that. I had no idea there was life to be found at the max critical depth. Okay, pardon me, folks. I didn't mean to get this lost. I think I have a touch of onitis. I am totally at a loss of what happened there. Let's bong. Yeah, let's just bounce off the tracks there. Okay, I think I see what I did. Yeah. I know I said the music for the Pacific Rim was my favorite. Venganza's is pretty good, too. Honestly, this whole soundtrack is. I used to listen to this in my car all the time. I would literally put the game disc into my car. So, let's see. Continue to follow this around and down. This is tricky because you got to be at the top to avoid critical depth. Not that it matters right now, but usually it does. Over the coal hopper. Back up a little bit. And yeah. Let's just get at the back end here and take this in. Yes. This is what was found underneath Venganza. And this is what they have been actually trying to excavate and study under the guise of under the guise of mining resources. This is the point in the game where even if you don't discover this, everybody mentions it. And this is the point where everybody says, okay, holy shit, it really is aliens. Up until then, everybody's like, well, aliens, whatever, I don't buy it. But, everybody then sees this, and they're like, okay, E.T. came home. So I just figured I'd give you a look at that so you knew what everyone was referencing. Okay, with that out of the way, let's go kill some people. Oh, that was a shark. Never mind. And let's see, we got one person I haven't talked about before, but some people saw last time. That is Dr. Adam Apocalypse there. And he is a mad scientist who is dead set on destroying humanity because he believes that no one other than him is worthy. So he's designed a super weapon that will flood the entire Earth and kill all human life on it except for him and a woman named Evelyn, who is going to be his mate and help produce genetically perfect children. And he needs the pods to power the Stratocracker. And we saw his ending last time, and while he did get the aliens' help in destroying the human race, they decided that Evelyn was genetically imperfect and replaced her with a big blobbed tentacle alien, thus completely fucking up all of his plan. Oh, I want to mention one thing about this that I don't think I mentioned last time. This came out before the PlayStation 1 dual analog controllers were a thing. I happen to be using an analog control because I've remapped a analog controller with the PlayStation functions, and that's happened kind of by accident because the down button on the regular digital pad is very iffy. So I've been using the analog for every one of my emulators, actually. But yeah, this actually predated the analog control. And I have to say this is a bit smoother with that, even though it's still mimicking the D-pad. And let's kill some sea life. Like you do. Personal journal entry. As I suspected, the infamous VLO also has a stake in the mad quest to obtain the energy pods. Once again, I have secured the pods in spite of considerable opposition. It's a good thing that I'm not averse to having a little adventure thrown in with my archaeology. While I continue on my quest to find facts regarding the pods, I may have already inadvertently stumbled upon a find so tremendous that it alone will raise my name to legendary status. Yeah, see, he's got a little ego too. Deep beneath Titan Worldwide Inc.'s Venganza exploiting oil well, I came upon a derelict alien spacecraft. Perhaps I spoke too soon. Could I be correct in saying one can and should assume that there is life, and intelligent life at that, on worlds other than Earth? I can only hypothesize that the thresholds and pods must be extraterrestrial in origin. I believe this could be so because the Archimedes carboradiatron scans of those mysterious vessels' surface matched those of the threshold. This data, teamed with the proximity of the threshold to this seemingly otherworldly vessel, makes me believe that there is an extremely high probability of a similar origin between the two. Truth or fantasy aside, all of this comes as a shock to me. I will need to think about what this means to me and my profession for a while. Thankfully, I now find myself in the Indian Ocean near the Cape of Good Hope. I will ruminate on this new development as I collect the pods from this location. Indian Ocean, latitude 40 degrees 40 minutes east, longitude 30 degrees 60 minutes south. And this is a series of caves with some narrow interconnecting passages. And it can be tricky depending on what sub you're using. The small subs will have less of a problem here. On the upside, there is no critical depth. But depending on where you start off, you can have a very hard time getting to a dropped pod before anyone else. Or not. That's just RNG right there. And these plankton, or whatever the hell they are, make a lot of these areas pretty annoying to get through, because it lowers the visibility. You can actually go through them, but figuring out what you're going to end up running into on the way can have you bumping around a bit. I lost sound effects there for a second. Okay, so from here I'm going to try as much to just expedite the pod collecting process, and you'll just kind of have to sightsee as I go. A whole lot of shaking going on. And Earth Hope is the last one I need. Let's just get them and be done with it. And let's go ahead and make our way to the threshold, because you've seen the basic idea here. They are beautiful looking caves. This is one of those areas that I never really got a full grip on the movement. So as such, I kind of blunder around this area. But thankfully the map will point out where the threshold is and north and some such. So we can get through it easily enough and let everybody else fight it out. Yeah, the Indian Ocean tends to be one of the quicker ones. Especially because so much is happening in close proximity. Personal journal entry. Events are spinning out of control. I'm trying my best to deal with things rationally, but the notion that there is life outside of this planet has really thrown me for a loop. So too, I note that tens of thousands of people from around the globe have converted to the Order of Nishraq thanks to its perceived connection to the Threshold. I've never been a religious fellow, but now I find myself wondering, could the mythos of the Zornad be true? It's the very notion of a maniac. It's about comparable to Cthulhuism. Yeah. Speaking of maniacs, I've heard that Jack Keon has started construction on a new wing of his mansion where he will display all of his latest archaeological treasures. Rumor has it that he has sarcastically named it the Harry Armstrong Wing after me. I know that it is not intended as flattery, but rather as spite. He knows as well as I do that all those pieces properly belong, as for kitten, in a museum. I am now in the far north Arctic waters. I remain considerably perplexed by the possibility of an alien race's intervention in Earth's affairs and their connection to the mysterious pods. I have confidence that I can work everything out given time. This is also a pretty cool area with some pretty cool music. But it can be very confusing. The Arctic, latitude 8 degrees 50 minutes east, longitude 85 degrees north. Oh, and there's one other special thing to know about this place, but I'm not going to say it yet. And those who saw the previous video, don't spill the beans. So we are beneath the ice caps. There are lots of places where there is not going to be much light. I don't remember if there are too many places with critical depth or not. Okay, well there's one. And I was going to say it's a tricky prospect getting a pod right away, because you have a very big cave network going on here, and it's not always readily obvious where the connections are. There's a lot of things that look like they should be connections at first, but then you turn around and there's nothing going on. Oh, by the way, if anyone's interested, you can find this soundtrack on YouTube, and I highly recommend it. Yep. Ah, damn it. Those spike balls I'm getting hit with are the weapon of the VLO sub, called the Anarchy. I've totally lost track of where the fuck I am and what's going on, which is very often the case in this game. I'm trying to find Lockjaw because he's got the pods. But all these other assholes keep wanting to just, you know, get in my shit. Oh, there you are. Oh, you just bugged the hell out, you bastard. Come back and fight me, you chicken shit. Okay, now let's see if I can find my way out of here. Very often easier said than done. Boy, thank God for that reflector shield. Oh, and that clamp thing that just hit me was the weapon from Dr. Apocalypse. He snags you with a harpoon and then pulls you into the jaws of his sub. It resembles a lobster. So basically he pulls you in and then just like clamps on you. Okay, you know what? I'm just going to get rid of all you assholes so I don't have to keep the shield going, because then I can actually maneuver around a lot easier. Okay, thank God. All y'all just fuck the fuck off. I'm looking for something very specific in the walls of the ice. And the other benefit is you get to hear this kick-ass music without the sounds of blah, 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 blah. It's around here, I swear it. There it is. Wow. Triangular cut in the ice. Now you notice that's insignia? Yeah, that is Dr. A's insignia. This is what is underneath the polar ice caps. I love that effect of just slowly climbing in height and having everything just reveal itself. And we got the threshold here. Now here's the other interesting thing. Transmission received. Abaddon online. Premises. Indiscriminate breeding has disrupted humanity's proper evolutionary course. Eugenics programs result in genetically superior populations. Only perfect specimens are sufficient. Analyses. Current population of humans must be cleansed. Energy pods are sufficient to instigate cleansing. Evidence indicates that no genetically perfect human specimens exist. Conclusions. I must impede the pod collectors. I must retrieve the energy pods. I must instigate the universal cleansing process. I must destroy all humans. Initiating battle mode. Now, something that came up in Dr. A's playthrough, but doesn't come up in this one. This is a robot programmed by Dr. Apocalypse to defend the Stratocracker machine. And this robot is now saying that no humans are genetically sufficient. So in other words, his machine has gone rogue. In his playthrough, it was because a British Secret Service agency, basically a James Bond type character, infiltrated his base and reprogrammed it. But they don't give any such explanation here. And Abaddon is housed inside this vehicle called the Razor Wing. Abaddon is actually taken from the Bible. And he was one of the demons of the deeper levels of hell. His name basically translates to abyss. And under normal circumstances, this is highly ill-advised to just go face-to-face with them. But I'm invincible, so who gives a fuck? But there's two bosses here. Abaddon is the first one. And you want to get rid of him before you start trying to deal with the second. And Abaddon... So, he doesn't usually peace out quite like this. But he will, every so often, retreat if there's too much fire going on at once. Oh, and I was about to demonstrate something. That was the radio charge. Doesn't really have too much of a range on it, but combined with the suckers, it can be pretty dangerous. I'm sorry, the fuckers. So now that Abaddon's done, and you can get into those grates up there and get some power-ups, and also kind of sort of hide from Abaddon, or Abaddon rather. I used to call it Abaddon, and now then I found out the correct pronunciation. Now, the Stratocracker, you can get near it and just try to pummel on it. That is very ill-advised, because it will retaliate with not only fireballs, but also the same kind of lightning attack that Mr. Fat had. So it's really a losing proposition to get that close. What you want to do is get just close enough that you have a radar lock, which will help with the aiming of the various weapons, and get through the shield. When you see a large orange explosion like that, you've hit the core. Shoot the core! And largely this battle's just a matter of patience. It's really not worth it, like I said, trying to go very close to the Stratocracker, because it will end up hitting you with so much stuff that you'll be knocked for a loop and constantly having to reorient. And it's just not worth it. Oh, here's another thing I forgot about the Professor Armstrong's weapon. As long as you have charges in it, you can hold down and it will continuously fire. Under normal circumstances, it'll send out 4 fire shots at once, or one after the other, rather. But you hold it like this, and it's basically almost like a machine gun. And I'm also sending regular torpedoes at it. Yeah, there are power-ups and such to be had in there, but still, just not worth it.
This episode's spelunking was made possible by Mike Panza, Rick in Baltimore, D.I.O.D., Gizmo Gremlin, Jumpy Cat, the post-production work of Matthew Carr Anderson, and all my tenured Lycanthro fans. Thank you very much for your continued support. Until we game again.